Hi everybody, my name is Monica. I'm the owner of kindergarten Little Scholars based in Limassol. We are introducing new project of our school that arises a need due to the problems and issues parents and families are facing nowadays. So today we are going to be talking about aggressive behavior of kids, which is very common. And our first guest is a psychologist, Elena Frixou. Welcome,
Hello,
Elena.
Hello, Monica. Thank you for having me. I'm Elena Frixou. I'm a school psychologist and a positive discipline educator for parents. I work in Limassol, and I'm happy to share some insights on how to address aggressive behavior.
Okay, Elena, thank you. So first of all, let's start with the definition, what aggressive behavior is.
So we could say that aggressive behavior is when a child acts out physically or verbally to express anger or other strong emotions. They can hit someone, bite someone, they can shout, yelling. They can express this anger in different forms, and it usually have a different trigger that we can start investigating what the trigger of the child is, so that we can understand why this behavior happens.
That's basically lead us in another question. What are the main factors that they cause this behavior generally? Because we see in practice it is happening in various situations, but always difficult part, I think, for us as educators is to establish the reasons.
So the reason can differ in each case, and we can observe the behavior and when it happens, and if something else happened before this emotional outburst.
Okay.
Just to understand the triggers first, if there is the child's way to express their feelings, or if there is an unmet need, they felt hungry, they felt tired, they want to play with a game and they don't have the access to. So it's very important to understand the triggers that we have. Also in young children, like the children you have in your kindergarten, sometimes they just have tantrums. Tantrums are very common at these ages, from 1 to 4. It's a common behavior that we see in children. So something important is to understand the difference between a tantrum and aggressive behavior. Usually a tantrum is just an emotional outburst and does not hurt someone else. They just they are yelling or they are laying on the floor. They don't have the intention to hurt someone else. In contrast, the aggressive behavior is when they are having this, they are acting out, again physically or verbally, but sometimes we have the intention to hurt someone else. So we have two different things.
I think very important information is what you said, intention. So we also see in practice that usually situations of aggression, they happen, not usually, but perhaps there are two ways. One is that something caused it, and the other situation is it just happened. There is no situation close to this moment that something happened before, like there was a conflict or disagreement with somebody. So we have these two. Now, it can be said that if there is the situation where the aggression happens, that it's like a protection in a way, because somebody did something and I react. I believe this, or what we see is, let's say, less often, because this kind of conflicts, if you communicate with your child, and apart from few cases, so there may be a child 1, 2, 3, how many, that they may behave like this. But the problem starts when there is this situation, as you said, intentional. So then we have cases in practice. We see 1, 2, 3 kids, let's say, and they have these reactions out of blue, I would say. So there is nothing that happened, unless there is something that caused it, like from the past or some event that happened before. But what about this? Because these kids they are basically repeating their actions. It's not one action usually. It's something that is repeated on daily basis, even a few times a day, let's say. So how to deal? Because this is the difficult part to deal in practice.
Yes, that's true. When we see a repetition of this behavior and a child to express his feelings in that way, that means that we need more emotional education, how to express their feelings. When a child at that young age does not know how to express their feelings and they just use a physical way to express them, then we have these behaviors. So what is important is to start educating the children about the appropriate ways of expressing ourselves. So parents at home, when we see, or the teachers also at school, when they see a behavior like this, of course they need to stop it first, because we are talking about the safety of another kid.
Yes, exactly.
So the first is to ensure that everyone is safe and take the child out of that trigger, if possible. Of course, at home, sometimes it's easier. At school, where the teacher have more kids, it's a bit difficult to take out the one kid. However, when we're taking the child away, where we have the chance to engage into a conversation where we will start finding solutions. So take away the child and start engaging in a conversation, discuss about what happened and why, to understand the feelings that the child has.
Okay. Yes, this is what we basically try to do, communicate, somehow to communicate with the child. Sometimes, however, problem may be when the communication comes with the parent, and this is quite often, because we do understand that there may be situation happening once, and it's an accident, it happens. When you come to the action that is repeated, and you are in a position to communicate with the parent, again you are coming with probably two different scenarios, where the parent understands and is willing to cooperate and perhaps follow some steps, as you mentioned, which is basically good guide for parents to follow. Or there are parents that they will come automatically with the answer that their child probably doesn't behave this way home, so they don't know about this behavior, and they don't deal like seriously, I would say. They let it more or less on school, where basically, of course, in school they spend significant time, but still they are also spending time out. So here we have a little bit of a situation to deal with, because we need to work with parents first to understand that behavior is really, as you said, maybe even dangerous, because we are talking about the same, like biting or throwing something or pushing or kicking even we had, or if we had even attacks on adults. I mean, kid kicking adult. So that was very hard, yes. So here you have sometimes perhaps this lack of knowledge, lack of information that parents have to understand that it may not be always happening in front of them when they don't see a child. So how to deal with parent now? How to make them understand that the situation may be different or may be difficult for child first, but also later for the institution, where basically safety of everybody is important. What we can do?
Yes. It's hard for parents to accept that something, there is an issue. Okay, especially in the cases that they don't see that issue at home, they just hear that this is happening only at school, and sometimes they cannot accept that something's wrong. So that's the first part. They need to accept and understand that the school is not lying to me. I trust the teachers there. They have experience, and since they are telling me something is happening, I need to give attention and to cooperate. even if I think that there is nothing important, it's better to act before something gets too serious. So that's the first advice.
What we should do.
That's the first advice to the parents, that when the teacher and the school is mentioning something, it's good to consider about it and consider of seeking a professional help and guidance. Now the school can only focus on what the school can do, because it's not always a guarantee that the parent will go and will ask for help. At the school, it's very important to have clear boundaries and clear rules. I'm sure that you already have rules, and stick to them and have some consequences. So every time that we have this behavior of a child, it's very important to react and respond with the same way, always.
Okay.
So the teachers, and you have different teachers, so another key method is to ensure that all the teachers will have the same limits, okay?
Yeah.
And the same consequences for that behavior.
Okay.
When we have a predictability, the children in general understand what is expected from them. So they know, if I throw this toy away, that's the consequence. If I will do it again, I will have again the same consequence.
Yeah.
It's not sometimes I get away with that, and sometimes I'm not. We need to be consistent. It's very important. Also, to have a routine at school and at home. Why routine is so important, and we keep saying about creating routines, it's because children need to know their program, their schedule.
What follows what basically.
Follows what, and that's a technique that in general all the schools are they do have, because it's a structured environment. When we know what is following, we feel safe.
And also for us adults, it's easier, I think.
We feel more calm. We know that what is next and what we are supposed to do in that environment. So that's important, to have rules and structure a routine. When we're talking about the environment at home, we still need to have those routines, especially for young kids. They need to know their schedule, and they need to know that this is the time that we work and this is the time that we rest. We have our break. We need to have balance also on that one, because if we are having too much activity, there is the overstimulation to the child, and again we may have this emotional outburst, and we may have again aggressive behaviors, because we don't give the chance to the child to have a break and to calm down, to have a calm activity.
What about situation that now we manage the parent. Parent has the understanding of the situation. He accepts there are some difficulties and I want to deal. So these parents can come to you, and you are going to guide the whole process, how to work with parents, how to work with kid, or what to do the next, correct?
Yes, that's right. We may have common behaviors, but each child is very difficult, and it's very different, and the triggers that they do have this behavior differ. So we need to understand the child and the situation to advise the family.
Okay. How you see it as a professional nowadays? What is the main issue that causes this kind of behavior, like aggression? What can be, like we are talking about kids 2 to 4, 5, 6, let's say, this scale. What is the main issue? So parents perhaps can know about this issue, can understand it, and can avoid it if possible.
One of the, let's say, main reasons is their development. It's common for children from 1 to 4. It's very common to have these behaviors, and usually when they grow up, we will see the decrease of this behavior. If we have a 6 years old and we don't see a decrease, then we might think of an underlying issue like a psychological disorder or emotional difficulties or other things. But before 5 or 6 years old, it's developmental, because they don't know yet how to self-regulate and how to express their feelings. And that's a relief for parents, because they know it's their behavior that is important, how to teach the children how to manage these behaviors, and there's nothing wrong with their children.
Okay.
They just need to give the opportunity to the children to learn how to manage. Also, another thing that is important to mention is that children learn by watching us. So when you have a difficult time and you try to manage that difficult time with calmness and with conversation and discuss with someone about these emotions that you have, you are teaching to the child to do the same.
So when is basically too much, because you are referring to the fact that it's basically normal, or somehow the situation is expected at this age.
It's developmental, yes.
When it's too much for me, because if I put now 50 kids, let's say, I can, if it's like common, I would say like this behavior, perhaps, I don't know, let's be generous, 5 kids, yes? All the rest, they do not have any signs of this behavior or any intention, actually. So me as a parent or me as a educational institution, when it's too much to consider that it's not only part of a development, let's say, but it may be something different. When I should start thinking this direction?
When it's too frequent and too intense. If it's just occasional aggression, then it's fine. When we have it every day and, as you said before, out of the blue, then something's happening. Maybe a stressful environment at home, an unhealthy environment. Adults in the child's environment that they do act with these behaviors, because as we said, they're mimicking the behaviors of others, so we may have a toxic environment. And always we need to think, if we had the chance to teach the emotional education, if we did all the methods that we should do, and nothing's working with that child. Okay, so we need to understand what we did before. If we did all the alternatives, then we might talking about diagnosis or a mental, let's say, challenge that a psychologist should address with the parents.
So you are in a position to address this, and then you are in a position to advise parents where to go and how to deal, I mean, in the future with this case.
To answer that question, it is better to ask yourself first, did I did every step that I could do to help that child learn them, let's say, the names and the labels of each emotion? Is there anything else I can do as a school, as a teacher, to educate first? If I'm comfortable that I cover all the other alternatives, all the other methods, and the child had the opportunity to learn how to express and label his emotions, then there is something else, or there is something that the parents should do also, not only the school.
Yes, always basically cooperation between
always.
the two. Yes. Okay, very good that you mentioned that. My next question is about the fact that us as an educational institution, we are noticing some changes in practice in the number of cases every year. Meaning that, of course, there is increasing trend that we are having challenges, because if I go back, let's say 5 years, I will see perhaps hardly one child having aggressive behavior or similar. And if I'm coming to the point of today, for sure I see more. So the question is, is there really the trend is increasing, or we are so unlucky having these cases, or what is behind it? Because even going back when we were kids, there was one, let's say everybody knew was a problem in a family, whatever it was, and that's the reason why this child behaves the way that he behaves. Nowadays is different. Are more kids with issues and various issues which we don't understand. So you from practice you see similar, or is just us?
What I see in practice is that parents are very busy nowadays, and we are living in a very stressful lifestyle.
Yes.
And we work many hours, so we don't have the time, the quality time to spend with our children. So that's one reason that we see all these behaviors lately, because parents are not that available like before, that you say when we were kids. They are not available, so children feel that I need the attention of my parents and I don't have them here with me. I need to spend more time with them to show them, to take the attention and the love that I want.
Yes.
But they are too young to understand that this is the reason they are behaving like that.
Okay.
We are the adults and we need to consider it, and to give them opportunities to discuss all this, to show them affection and love, to validate their emotions, to say that I understand you're upset, I understand that you have all these strong emotions, and let's sit together and discuss about it. Also, this approach to sit together and discuss, try not to use the timeouts.
Yes.
When a child has this difficult time and you send the child away, it's not very helpful.
It sounds like go somewhere and deal with your problem on your own.
On your own, yes.
This is how
and they don't have the skills yet to deal on their own. So use the time let's say, to sit with the child, discuss and guide the child more. Also to acknowledge their feelings and say, I feel, I understand you're upset about this. Let's talk about it. Let's see what are the other options that you have, what you can do next time.
Okay.
When you are feeling this way, okay, that's a good idea, or maybe we can use something else, and you do a conversation. What is the key message here is that even on my bad days, my mom, my dad are here for me and they support me. I'm not alone. I have someone to share these difficult emotions with, difficult situations with.
Yeah, I can just confirm what you said about the lack of time that parents have for kids. We can see it also daily, because we interact with parents. We see various situations, and yes, it's basically sad that we are leading into this and causing problems to our kids probably without realizing that we do something wrong. So this is one of the reasons why we try to have these open discussions via the podcast, so we can bring the knowledge and advice to a parent.
Yes, aggressive behavior is it's something that we discuss for hours, and for each situation we have a unique child and different reasons that all these behaviors may occur. And I think it's very helpful to share some ideas on how parents can deal with it, and also to encourage them to seek for professional help if that's needed.
Indeed, Elena, we can talk for many hours for this topic. However, I believe we covered the most important areas, and our parents can obtain some advices from our conversation. I would like to thank you for coming and participating in our first episode. Looking forward for the next one.
Thank you very much for having me.
I also would like to thank everybody who is watching or listening our podcast. We would like to invite you to comment and perhaps give us some suggestions for future topics or for our episodes. Thank you, and see you in next discussion.